Hey, it's Twyla. I'm here with Diamond Butler, who is involved and an executive, really, with Global Kids. Tell me what Global Kids is.
So Global Kids is a youth development organization. We started 32 years ago. I serve as the director of high school programs as of August 30th. My current role is community school director of Bronx Studio School for Writers and Artists. So we lead, develop, we activate young minds in the area of global issues.
How do you do that?
So we do that through a variety of programs. We have citywide programs and we have school-based programs as well. We exist in all 5 of the boroughs, as well as Washington, D.C. We have Global Kids as well. And we do a special program in Houston, Texas every summer as well. So one way that we do that is with our program that we call HRAP, which is the Human Rights Activist Project. Another way in which we do that is with our annual conference that is student-led. So every year we have students who serve as conference planners. They select a theme, they do one-on-one workshops on that particular issue, and then it breaks down into subcategories as well. And they as well present on that.
Tell me a little bit more about HRAP.
HRAP, yes, the Human Rights Activist Project. So that was birthed out of a place in which young people doing work and learning about various issues, how to make it action-oriented. So we have 5 guidelines within Global Kids. And one is think globally, act locally. So with that being said, they're able to put together various projects and get involved in protests at certain times, organize rallies, advocate on behalf of various laws in which they would like to see change. And it culminates with the different lessons that they learn throughout the year. And as I mentioned before, this is a citywide program as well too, so they get to connect with other young people around New York City.
You said there are 5 guidelines.
Yes.
Think globally, act locally. What are the other 4?
Well, first one is one mic. You know, one person speaks and the rest listens. And more than just hearing, we say listening, because we feel as though that is definitely a major factor that you have to have when you're thinking about being a leader. It's not just having one thing go in one ear and out the other. So we always make that differentiation for our young people when we speak to them about that. The other one that we have, which is a little difficult during this time, but people before technology. Because sometimes people are so caught up in their phones, they don't take time to pay attention to those who are in front of them and to engage in conversation. So when our young people are involved in our workshops and programming, especially when they're in person, we ask that they are completely engaged and pay attention to what's happening in the room.
About how many students are involved in Global Kids here in New York City?
Oh, that's a great question. One of the things that we are present in the community schools. So when we're present in community schools, that means we serve the entire school community. So every year, Global Kids services over 6,000 young people. At first, we were just on the high school level, but now we're even in some elementary schools as well, too. So we're in elementary, middle, and high school level.
That's impressive. So impressive. Do you have a gender equity in the participants?
Absolutely. We talk about that as well, too. When young people introduce themselves, we ask them to state their pronouns, whichever way in which young people want to be identified as. That's exactly what we follow.
And the students who identify as female, would that be the number be on a par with the men? Boys who identify as male?
Yes, whichever way young people identify, we have special programming for girls in particular as well too, or those who identify as girls. We have a Girl Hack program, which is about exposure to technology. They've created games, podcasts, just to name a few of their technological programs. And they participate in Emoticon on a yearly basis, which is held at New York Public Library on 42nd Street.
What is Emoticon?
Emoticon is a time in which young people are able to bring their technology projects to New York Public Library on 42nd Street. And it's a competition. They have people from Google and various other tech companies who go around and they can win badges.
Wow. Tell me, who funds Global Kids?
So Global Kids, we receive a variety of funding, city funding from Department of Youth Development and Community, DYCD it is called. We also receive funding through the Office of Community Schools to do our work. And we also receive some city council funds as well too. So, and then thank you to our funders that we've had throughout the years, because we have private funding as well that comes through various foundations.
You said you wanted to expand beyond New York City.
Yes.
And you're going first to?
Well, we're in DC, and we have programming in Texas as well too.
What is the most challenging aspect of working with global kids?
Oh, that's a great question. You know, the most challenging aspect, I would say one of the most challenging aspects is sometimes that youth voice portion that comes to it. When we work within the various schools, sometimes it's interesting. They're a bit nervous about the action in which young people would like to take. So a lot of times they want to say, oh, is this going to be a protest? What's going to happen? What are they going to post around the school? So really digging deep and having those conversations to bring ease to it and allowing youth voice to be heard.
So impressive. You're involved with 2 other organizations.
Yes, I'm involved with 2 other organizations as well. Statement Junkie, we get passports to girls of color. We say 10 years of no excuses, and also Black Birthright, where we take young people on educational and immersive programs to the continent of Africa, Senegal in particular. This year, due to the pandemic, we went to New Orleans.
Jared Jeff.
Ah, Bangladesh! Magnifique! Magnifique! Look at that.
Tell me a little bit more about 10 years of no excuses.
10 years ago. So Statement Junkie, which was started by Rachel Evans. She had this grand idea, you know, to give access to girls of color so that they have opportunities to travel. Why not have them come to a passport summit or engage in a program that is 8 weeks or longer if it's based in their school or after school program, and have them get a passport at the end of that program. And that way they have 10 years of no excuses for the world of travel.
And are they nervous?
I don't know, of course they're nervous. They're so nervous, and you know, working on developing some portions of the curriculum. And we have one just around travel fears, dispelling your travel fears.
And how are you meeting the challenges of the passport office being a year and a half behind in processing applications?
You know, we continue to still process it and have it happen, you know, because we will say that travel, as you see, traveling is starting to open up as well too. So it's better to have it now than to wait until later. So we're still continuing to assist families and the girls with processing their applications. And we know that there's a delay. But we also let them know, you know, this is the first step in the process.
What has been the most emotional experience you've had with any of these 3 programs?
Wow, that is a excellent question. You know, with all of these programs, I get to literally see young people's minds activated when they are set in a new place. So I just had one recently. We went to Dookie Chase restaurant in New Orleans.
Miss Chase.
Yes, Miss Chase. And while we were listening to one of her family members speak, she said, this was the room in which the freedom riders ate, and now you have the opportunity to sit here.
Was that Leah Chase that was?
It was her granddaughter. And when she said that, I looked up and I saw the faces of my young people, and I thought about how some of them are getting ready to go off to college, that they're the age of what some of the freedom riders would have been at that time. So that was a really special moment for me, and that was just a couple of weeks ago. But that's one reason why I love doing this work. I have so many times in which I can see their response to that first life-changing moment for them. So I've seen the same happen in Senegal. I've seen the same happen in the Bronx as well too. You know, that moment where it's that turning point for them, where they're able to connect the historical context to what's happening to them now.
Tell me, what is the website for Global Kids?
For Global Kids, you go to www.globalkids.org. For Statement Junkie, www.statementjunkie, that's with a Y.org. And then for Black Birthright, www.blackbirthright.org. myblackbirthright.org.
Wonderful. Thanks so much, Diamond.
You're welcome.
Diamond
Thank
Butler.
you so much. Thank you so much, Twyla. So nice.